Hey guys, Jeremy Booyer here, Jeremy Sutton here, Dirty Right Rear Podcast, episode 22. In this episode, we're going to have Mod Lite superstar Billy Joe Beard. We'll be right back after this commercial.
Ditch the corporate noise and plug into something real. The Barn Media Group and Podcast Network is your one-stop destination for all things independent. We're a locally owned media company with a purpose to amplify voices, champion creativity, and bring you authentic stories in music, sports, lifestyle, and beyond. Want that local flavor? The Parkland Podcast and the Tippy Joe Show offer a variety of local content straight from the Lead Belt community. Whether it's politicians, members of the community, musicians, artists, or local business owners, we're giving a platform to real voices with real stories. From the stage to City Hall, these podcasts bring together a diverse lineup of guests who each have their own stories to tell. And for sports junkies, we go all in with Knuckleball Primetime, Dirty Right Rear Podcast, and Parkland Sports Live, covering professional, college, and high school sports, dirt track racing, and everything in between. Are you a gaming fan? Birds and Swords brings you anything and everything from the world of video games, from the hottest new releases and classic throwbacks to industry news, quirky debates, and deep dives into gaming culture. From headbanging to honky-tonkin', Vulgar Display of Podcast and Midwest Mixtape Podcast delivers the full spectrum of sound. Crank it up for interviews, album reviews, and real conversations with artists from all walks. Join Dawn every Sunday morning for Bible Time at the Barn, a heartfelt journey through scripture, faith, and reflection. This uplifting podcast offers a peaceful space to reconnect and be inspired. For the full lineup, live streams, and latest drops, go to thebarn.media.
All right, guys, welcome back and welcome to the show, Billy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes, is this your first podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. Most people, it is their first one.
You're a podcast extraordinaire, though, aren't you? Don't you listen to?
That's all I listen to at work. So
yeah. So, is it going to be a little weird listening to yourself on a podcast?
Probably.
So, for those that don't know, I mean, pretty much everybody knows the Beard name around here. But tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Billy Beard II, Junior, Bill's son, whatever you want to call me.
You're Billy Joe.
Yeah, Billy Joe. I'm a third-generation racer. My grandpa started it. My grandpa actually owned him and my grandma, and then my grandpa's sister and her husband, they owned Farmington Racetrack together. They're actually the ones that changed it from Empire to St. Francis County.
Yep.
I never knew that.
Yeah, but yeah, we've been in racing as long as I can remember, and well before then too.
Yeah, I remember your dad racing a little bit when I was young. I didn't know him then, obviously.
Yeah, he kind of gave it up for a little bit when I was born, and then in '98 he got back into it, ran for a few years, and then the last year he raced was actually in a Mod Lite too.
I remember the Mod Lite days real well. That year he ran, or year or two, whatever it was. And then, but now your boys are racing. They're in go-karts. And how old are they?
Miles is 9, Maverick 7. Yeah. Miles is in the intermediate class. Mavi, he's still in the beginner class. We've had speed so far this year. Just haven't had any luck on our side with the boys.
Yeah. That's cool that, you guys are racing's a big part of the Beard family. And not only that, your dad owns one of our great sponsors, X-Pert Powder Coating. And so he's involved that way as well. So we can't thank him enough for what he's done for us.
Yeah, absolutely. He loves listening to your guys' show every week. He looks forward to Friday.
He actually listens?
Oh, yeah. He listens every week.
I think Erin said she had to download something for him or get him hooked up on something so that he could actually start listening because he was trying to listen to something else.
If I remember right, I think she actually found how to do it watch it on YouTube, and she just hands him the iPad with it already playing, and he sits there and watches it, and he usually laughs at you guys for an hour or so. And
so he can't. He probably still has like a jitterbug phone. The one you open up, it's got the numbers this big. You can't watch stuff on.
He's had an iPhone for probably close to 10 years now.
Oh man!
Wow. He calls, texts, and looks at Amazon.
That's funny. So you've kind of, let's touch back to your beginning racing. What did you start in, go-kart?
Yeah, I started in go-kart for about a half a season. Actually, my very first night in any kind of race car, I was out at Doe Run a long time ago, back when everybody ran the flathead Briggs motors. And they had two classes of go-karts then. They had stock and what they called super stock. Mm-hmm. Well, Sam Miller, he had one of each. Well, he got fed up with his stock, didn't want to run it, didn't want to run the feature that night. So I borrowed a helmet from Tommy Worley, a suit from somebody, shoes from somebody, and I actually, the first night I ever ran, I ran in a number 24 go-kart, and I hated Jeff Gordon.
How'd you finish that race?
I had no clue. I don't remember. But then a couple weeks later, we actually bought that go-kart from my dad, or from Sam, and Mike LeBrat took it all apart and made it red and chrome and made it kind of match Dad's late model that year.
Yeah. Was you when you started? Was you number 35?
Yeah,
I thought so.
Yeah, I ran 35. The first year I had a Mod Lite too, yep. And then the second year was the year me and Dad both had cars. Yep. And I wasn't a big fan of just throwing a number or a letter on the side of the number. Like I was a huge Davey Allison fan as a little kid, and I just thought, what the heck, I'll just run 28 instead, and I've stuck with it ever since.
So after the go-karts, where did you go from there?
I actually, the go-kart got sold because my grades slipped, and so then I took a few years off, and then Dad actually traded that last late model he had. It was a few years old at that time, but it was the last late model he had. He traded it for the first Mod Lite, and then he and I shared that car the first year, and then the second year we each had cars.
Oh, okay.
And then we did that for a few years. Tried the modified thing for a little while. Definitely not my cup of tea. Did the micro thing for 3 or 4 years. Won some races, had a lot of fun. But probably the most fun micro racing I've ever had was just trying to get this guy in the show at a Power Eye show at Belleville. I mean, we went to so many races that year, and it was like, if we didn't go, there'd be 12 cars. If Booyer went, there was
70.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And it didn't help. I had a A-class car.
Well, we had the super secret Sawyer setup.
Yeah, super secret Sawyer setup. And I mean, it didn't matter. I didn't care. We were going.
Yeah, that summer was one of the most fun summers ever.
I don't know if I made a show.
I
don't even think so.
If there was a B main, we were in it.
We were in it.
B main Warriors.
I went out there at actually SIR one of the times we went, and they timed, and I said, man, I had that thing pegged. It was awesome. We go look at the thing, and I beat 7 people. And I was like, dude, that's all it had. I don't, which is, the game changed from when I had it to then, and it was right in the middle of all the outlaw stuff just coming crazy aboard. And I thought that car would keep up, and obviously.
We thought that car was going to be the best thing ever because it was the first time either one of us had ever seen a Sparky Grape exhaust.
Yes. And that automatically gained horsepower.
Yeah.
But
that's funny.
It was still, I would take that season over damn near any of them just because it was, we went everywhere. We went to Macon, SIR. I mean, Belleville. We went every single big race. If it was a big race, we were going. If it was a small race, heck with that. Yeah. Heck, we even hit up a couple of the Silver Crown races on the way.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
We were like, hey, let's make a weekend.
Yeah, we'd go to the Silver Crown race during the day, and then we'd go race Belleville that night.
Yeah, it was awesome. Heck, we even stayed over there one time. It was pretty cool. I think we went to Macon. Then we stayed the night somewhere, and then went to Silver Crown race, or I don't remember. Yeah, Springfield. Yeah, Billy had a rough time. There was somebody, like, I guess in the next room or something. They must have been doing some stuff in there, and they kept Billy and Brittany up all night.
yeah, that was a good time.
So after the micro, you went back to the Mod Lites, right?
Yeah, we did the micro thing, and then right before, like 2 months before Bobby passed, he had announced that he was going to bring back the Mod Lite class. Yep. And so I sold that Hyper micro that I had to Dusty Homan, and then turned around and drove to Marion or Carterville, right there outside of Marion, or before Marion, and bought a Mod Lite.
And then what year? Gosh, what was it? 2015? Does that sound right? 2016?
What's that?
What year was that? 2015, 2016?
2016
Yeah.
was the
and
first
then,
year.
You've raced pretty much every year in a Mod Lite since then. Let's see, you took off, 1 or 2 years here?
Took last year off.
Yeah, last year, and then you come
just,
back out this year with a new car, and
Yeah.
you've ran twice and been the first loser both times.
Yeah. I'm undefeated in heat races, though.
How are you liking that new car?
It's unlike anything I've ever driven. Logan, Ronnie, and those guys, they know what they're doing. It's cool because I remember listening to your guys' episode with Rusty and how he said you just don't go anywhere without help. You can't get anywhere in motorsports without help. And he hit the nail on the head when he said that. We got some help. We the way we set up cars 15 years ago isn't how anybody sets a car up anymore. And just getting with the times and getting with some people that have done the research and done the studies and figured out what works and what doesn't, and it's been huge.
So that's big, even in the Mod Lite game.
If it's got suspension, it seems like everything's. Well, I shouldn't say that. Even the go-karts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy the gear differences that we're running on the same track now in a go-kart versus what we were running in a go-kart 3 years ago. The same class, same track, same go-kart. But in order to keep up, things are just changing.
Right.
I get so sick of hearing with the junior sprint, which is the same as, the go-kart gearing and all the same as every week. What gear we run, or what we got to change it to this for this, we got to change it for that, and all this different stuff. And I'm like, screw this.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with that, man. Changing it for every type of racetrack or type of this. And I know we change it for distance of racetracks, but not like, we're going to run the same gear at, say we did at Belleville, say we did at SIR, Wayne County, all of it's the same gear. Well, then junior sprints and that, they may be 10 teeth different or something weird. I'm like, I ain't messing with this crap.
Yep.
But
that's kind of how I feel about the juniors too. Kyle Bates, his son Carter, and Maverick, they've become really good friends this last year or so. And Kyle's constantly, when are you going to buy a junior sprint? And I'm like, dude, I could build 2 kids mods for the price of 1 junior sprint. And not saying that kids mod's the direction I want to go, but I could. I know I could. Maybe not competitive, but the first year I'm not looking to be super competitive in a step like that.
No, that class is awesome. Don't get me wrong. But man, they've just priced themselves so crazy, man. And you can't really buy before they had a lot of cheaper versions of it out there. And now it seems like if you're not jumping on the D1 bandwagon,
right,
you're out.
Yep.
I know that. I think that Storm makes a pretty cool product. Hyper just got their game going, but theirs are brand new. Those ain't gonna get figured out right now. So if you and the D1 stuff, that's why Hagopian's a millionaire. He's making hand over fist because the parts are just crazy, man. But you're gonna pay to be the best.
Yeah, but micros are the same way. That last year that I ran a micro, that Hyper, we bought that car race ready for less than $15,000.
Wow.
And we won a championship. We won a couple features. I feel like that car is what made me believe that I actually could drive a race car again, because there for a while, especially in the modified days, I questioned it.
It's definitely like game changer in the money issue, because just from quitting for a while and then jumping back into it, it was a world of difference. But nowadays it's definitely, if you don't have good shocks and a good motor, the frames and all this stuff are getting to be like a sprint car. They're really not a terrible price.
Right.
But if you can't spend a bunch of money on the other two, it's a bad deal.
Say you had $15,000 in a race ready car that could, go to Doe Run and win and be competitive anywhere. And that's not even touching the motor it takes now to be competitive.
Yeah.
Right.
That is a motor. That's a competitive motor now,
The motor, it was a 636. It was stock, but you could run pretty good at Doe Run with a stock 636 back then. We had speed when we went other places, but we weren't competitive. Back then, Doe Run, you had Doe Run cars, and then you had Power Eye cars.
Right.
And we were kind of trying to be somewhere in between, but we were probably more likely a Doe Run car.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, we had fun.
And that's what it's all about, having fun. And,
the traveling aspect and going to racing, like we were talking about, going to race with all the big guys and doing. I think we had more fun when we'd stop and eat and do something stupid.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I don't even remember
Or break down.
our breakdown. We broke down the highway like 7,000
That was
degrees.
actually me going racing at Belleville. 'cause
I remember that
you
story.
finally talked me into taking my car up there. And my truck blew the charge tube off the turbo, and me and Matt Boyd walked like a mile and a half to Advance Auto Parts.
And that was in Arnold, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right there. I almost delivered their baby on the
Yeah,
side of the
Brittany was
highway.
like-
Oh, I
half
forgot
months
about that.
Yeah. She was having contractions and stuff, I think, and I thought, here we go. Put that on my resume, delivering a baby on the highway.
Thank goodness that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, I would have ran. She'd have had zero help. She would have had to squirt that out herself, man. I wasn't doing that. I don't want no part of that. I'd freaked out. Got some tree limbs and some vice grips or something. I don't even know what I'd have done.
Yeah, God.
And it was like 1,000 degrees.
Yeah, and me and Matt were walking on the side of the highway. Thank goodness somebody in the auto parts store was like, "Is that you guys broke down on the side of the highway? You want to ride back?" We're like, yeah we do.
While we're sitting there and like all the race car trailers are passing us honking like we were just pulled over to get a drink.
Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah, it was rough, but
Yeah.
it was. So what direction is are you guys going to go in the kids, you think?
I don't know. I think if I let them choose, I think they'd both choose just kind of here in maybe a year or two, maybe try to get a kid's mind. But then the restrictor's tempting too. Like it'll be a kid's mod or it'll be a restrictor. Because I'm not buying junior sprints to run for 1 or 2 years.
Yep.
Just to turn around and have to sell them for a quarter of what I have in them and do it again in a restrictor.
Yep. Right. In a restrictor, I will say, I mean, you can spend a ton of money in the restrictor, obviously, with anything. But if you really do it smart, you can still build a restrictor for a halfway decent price. Just because you don't have that extra $8,000 build deal, you know, on top of buying the motor, on top of having some crazy injection, you know, or whatever. The restrictor it's still expensive, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be a $30,000 operation, you know, nothing crazy. But I mean, I say $30,000, even if you spent 20 on it, that would be pretty crazy in my book. But I mean, it's all getting so out of hand, but the kids mod looks like it's actually picking up. I mean, I was surprised to see, what was there, 5 or 6 of them the other night?
Yeah. Well, I didn't go Friday, but yeah, I think they had quite a few. I mean, the couple times I have been out there, they've had, you know, 4 to 6, something like that. And really at a place like that, you don't really need more than 8 of them out there.
No. Well, I'll tell you what's a little bit scary is when they do run through the pits, they're coming through the pits and you look over and you're just like, oh, there's a modified. And you see this tiny kid in there. You're
out of a go-kart.
out of a huge car. And you're like, oh my God, should he even be allowed to do this? You know? Because, I mean, it looks like he could just at any moment mow over a trailer and 4 or 5 families and who knows what. But, yeah, it's pretty wild seeing some of the kids in them when they're really that small. But, I mean, I guess that's the next step. I mean, unless you do the whole Mod Lite game with them. But how old you got to be to do that?
14.
Oh, okay.
So that's why if we decide we're more than likely going to go Mod Lite with them, we'll probably go restrictor and then Mod Lite. Just because we can still go the same tracks.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
for the most part.
What are your 2025 plans for you and for the kids?
Both of us just kind of go when we can, when we want to, and when we, you know, I want to get them down to the Benton kart track. I know Davey took Camden down there last week and had a lot of fun, and so we'll see.
Is that the only place Davey can go now, or
I don't know. I wasn't there Friday, so I don't really know what all happened.
Man.
if he would have had 2 Roman candles in his hand running through the pits screaming, that's what he would have been doing because he was hot, man. I don't really know exactly what happened, but it was just I seen him running through there and I mean screaming, and I was like, oh God. So we weren't standing over there at the time, so I was like, man, but I seen it from pretty far away. I was like, holy crap, something cool happened and we missed it. But He bolted out of there, so I didn't even get to talk to him. But I don't really know what it was. But I seen DQ on the list, so I don't know if that was part of it.
I heard a little bit about it, but I haven't called him yet and heard all the details yet.
Yeah, who knows, man.
It's hard to say. Do you, I know a track that we're pretty proud of here and a big part of is Coles County. Do you plan on going up there in the Mod Lite at all?
Well, if he's going to have 1,000 to win this coming week, we might.
That's what I was going to touch on. 1,000 to win Saturday night, Mod Lites, Coles County. So,
I'll tell you what, man. If which you obviously hear it, I bash on the Mod Lites at some places, but like SIR, I mean, I'm a fan, and Coles County is fast.
Yeah.
Have you been there?
Okay.
And it's just, I guess it's just a different animal. Like, it's night and day from SIR though. It's not the slick. I mean, it's like you're running on gumbo the whole time in those cars. And like we were talking about, 4 or 5 of them flip 2 laps.
Yeah.
When we went up there. So it'll be a whole different world for you, I bet. But man, it just looks very fast compared to everywhere else. I mean, obviously Benton and all that's probably faster, but it don't look like that. SIR looks like an outlaw wing micro race at SIR. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty wild.
It was 2 years ago. We got to run Macon. And
now that's probably...
Macon was awesome in a Mod Lite. Jagger we had to fix his car before the feature and had some kind of issue where his steering, he only had like a quarter of the steering he was supposed to have. And we figured it out in staging, so he was just planning on going out and getting start money. And then I had to hodgepodge mine back together because I biked it and I broke everything under the rear end of the car. So we got it back together, and I had mine back together right. And about 5 laps in, I look up and Jagger is like on the wall, just blowing around me. I'm like, how in the heck is he steering that thing? And at the end, come to find out, he could steer left, but if he ever got in trouble, he was screwed because he couldn't turn back right because they had something. They'd put a bolt in the spindle the wrong way or something. I don't remember what it was, but that place was fun. I would love to go back there.
Oh, Macon's an animal, man. I would like to. And that's kind of the perfect scenario track for, you can run almost anything there. I mean, we ran there last year. Well, we're going back. They're running junior sprints, and they can run anything from, now I'd say the karts wouldn't run there, but junior sprints to non-wing USAC freaking sprint cars to late models to...
Yeah, they have a 100-lap late model race every year.
Wow.
I mean, that would be the ideal track to put right here in the middle of Farmington, run on Fridays. You know what I'm saying?
So you'll have, back-to-back big weeks in if you go to Coles County this week, 1,000 to win. I guess it'd be 2 weeks, or no, it'd be back-to-back, and then the following week, 2,500 to win at SIR. I know you'll be chasing that money too.
Yeah, that's kind of why. That's where we've been racing so far this year. It's like, I want to know I have a chance when that race comes around. You know, I know there's gonna be some fast cars show up, and it'd be cool to win it, but I just want to be in the mix.
Right. I definitely think you will be. I mean,
oh yeah. I mean, and when we were talking with Caleb on a show before this, Mod Lites don't have a lot of huge races. They may in other, super far away from where we're at, but a 2,500 to win for around here is a pretty big show.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some good purses out there, but you got to travel to Florida or Iowa or, all these. I think Arizona usually has a couple of big ones in the early part of the year, but as far as actually just getting to race a track somewhat close to home that puts a good purse up, this is it.
Yeah. That's why I figured that was going to kind of be the premier Mod Lite race for the Midwest for sure.
Right.
Back, you talked about Florida. You've gone to Florida and raced how many times? Twice. Yeah. And that's got to be a fun, racing against cars you don't get to race against, number one, and some of the best cars there is.
Yeah, there's a lot of good cars that show up, but there's a lot of knuckleheads that show up too, and it's probably no different than the shootout. You gotta have some luck on your side just to be able to dodge the flies. Now the good thing about the last time we went, we qualified. So if you found yourself in the middle of the squirrels, well, you were probably a squirrel yourself. So.
Yeah. What have you ever had a good run or a decent run down there in Florida?
The last time we went, we ended up like 7th or 8th, but I mean, it was one of those races where guys were just driving over their heads, and I kept my nose clean and started in the back and drove it up to like 8th or 9th, I think.
Nice.
And those trips are, like a Florida trip or something. That's just got to be fun, just the trip too.
Oh yeah, especially when you look at your weather app and it's 30 degrees back here at home, and it's 75 and sunny and stinks like salt water where you're at.
Hey guys, this is Jeremy Booyer and Jeremy Sutton here with the Dirty Right Rear podcast. We want to highlight one of our sponsors, supporters, and everything else with X-Pert Graphics, Powder Coating, and Fabrication. X-Pert Powder Coating and Fabrication is a family-owned business out of Farmington over in the industrial park. You can go over there and get some graphics, lettering, anything for your race cars. Get some powder coating done for your race cars, any other kind of stuff. Get any kind of fabrication also done with them. You can come over there and talk to Andy Moss. He's in there just plugging away at the computer, designing everything, doing whatever he can. You got Dennis in the back with his lab coat, mixing up the powder coat, really getting the stuff going. And then you got Dan over there just fabricating anything and everything you want. But if you want to hit them up, X-Pert Powder Coating over in Farmington at the industrial park, you can give them a call, 573-756-7324. Hey guys, this is Jeremy Booyer and Jeremy Sutton of the Dirty Right Rear podcast. We want to shout out to one of our new sponsors, which we've talked about quite a bit lately, but Coles County Speedway, actually the oldest micro track in the United States, opened up in 1956. They're going to be running every Saturday night, Outlaw Wing, Non-Wing, A-Class Wing, Restrictor, Junior Sprint, and Mod Lights. They'll also have several 2- and 3-day big shows all throughout the season that they're going to have, and is the home of the WFO Micro Series also, and you can check them out at colescountyspeedway.com or on their Facebook page, and their address is 10743 East County Road 900 North, Mattoon, Illinois. Hey guys, Jeremy Booyer, Jeremy Sutton here of the Dirty Right Rear podcast, and also Chad Winch of the Barn. We got to thank our new big sponsor that we just picked up, Double D Motorsports. Double D Motorsports in Farmington specializes in all types of race car parts, from new and used, even full rollers and race-ready cars. Katie and Daryl are notorious for making full buyouts and buying a lot of people's stuff out. You never know what they will have over there at Double D. Check back every week to see what kind of new stuff they have arriving. Plus, get your weekly items for your racing, such as oils, lubes, tear-offs, seatbelts, fuel jugs, all kind of miscellaneous items. You can go to Double D Motorsports Mondays and Thursdays, 10 to 6, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 3, or you can call them, see if they'll meet you over there, 573-747-7816. Their address is 2882 Highway 67, Farmington, Missouri. It's just south of Farmington. Go over to Double D Motorsports and get all your racing needs.
Turner Services, they are located in St. Louis. They specialize in concrete flat work, asphalt paving and repair. They haul rock and dirt. They do bobcat and excavator work, retaining walls, draining issues, concrete tear outs, and snow plowing. Need something else done that's not listed? Give Cody a call at 314-397-2890, and he may just do what you need.
Yeah, saltwater and gator piss.
Yeah. Down there, you can ask Sam about this. There was something with the sugarcane stuff that they got going on down there in like Clewiston, where Hendry's at. That whole town just stinks. Like,
Really?
yeah, it's horrible.
Well, don't get off the beaten path at Marion, because I went to the back roads of Marion, and I was in East St. Louis. I felt like the other day it was rough out there.
What stinks more, down there in Florida, or come on, what's the town in Illinois?
Oh, Cairo?
Yeah, Cairo.
Cairo don't stink as bad
Oh,
anymore.
man.
You just don't stop. Like,
Yeah,
it's
you
danger
lose a
zone.
wheel off the trailer, just keep going.
Yeah.
Drag that thing until you get back to Missouri,
Yeah,
because I'm not stopping in that town.
I thought it had a funny smell to it when we went.
Nah, you roll through there, you lose your race car, you lost your race car. You keep on trucking.
Yeah.
We drove through. We picked up a couple brand new J&Js with Doc Sloan and drove down to Tennessee. I think it's in Tennessee. It's been so long ago.
Yeah, it is.
We come back through there. We were going to make one trip. He's like, "Think you can make it all the way back?" And we're like, "Yeah." And I fell asleep when we woke up, and I was like, "Man, why is everybody at the movies?" And Doc's like, we're in the middle of Cairo. And I'm like, "Well, the movies let out?" Because there's that big movie theater right there. And he goes, "It's 3:30 in the morning." And I said, what are all these people? He goes, well, I ain't rolling the window down to ask. And we just kept on going. But yeah, I was sound asleep, and I was like, why are these people out at 3:30 in the morning? But you roll through there in the daytime, it's ghost town.
Yeah.
Yeah, there ain't nobody there.
Yep. What's been your biggest win ever?
Probably the doubled up Queens Royal weekend 2 years ago out at Farmington. Because there was bonus money to win both nights.
Yeah, you took some of my money that weekend.
Did I?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ah, man, you should have framed that, because you ain't never going to see that
Right.
again.
Remember, I remember there was a few of us that wanted to up the purse that night because there was another local track trying to schedule over, and we're like, we ain't having this.
Yeah.
So we threw some extra money at it, and I was glad to see it go to Billy Joe. You got a pretty sweet trophy that weekend too, didn't you?
Yeah, a couple of them.
Yeah, I remember that.
And a couple of big checks. It's always nice when you get to hang a couple of those on the wall.
Yeah, those are cool.
I know. I don't want to forget it, so let's go with my patent in question here.
Oh, shit.
Because I know Billy Joe's looking forward to this. So.
Let me take a nap.
Tell us about the dirtiest right rear that you've ever given someone, and the dirtiest right rear someone's ever given you.
I want to see if Jeremy knows the dirtiest one I've ever thrown.
Man. And right when you say it, I'm going to know it, probably. I can't think of it.
So we were at SIR and we just had my Mod Lite there. And it was the first year that I had that car, and it was only like second or third time I'd ever been to SIR. And I figured out how to make it work on the top and passed some cars, caught the leader and tried to go under him. And remember the spring, it used to have water come up out of it going into one. And I slid up and I completely wiped out the leader. I just fed him a right rear because I couldn't turn because the car took off sliding. And I pulled off in the infield and was like, somebody please give him his spot back. That was the stupidest thing I've ever done. And it ended up tearing his car up. And so, yeah, if he'd have came to the trailer ready to fight that night, I would have completely understood, because it would have been his first win too.
Yeah, I remember blaming it on the spring.
Hey, that stuff happens, you know. What about the dirtiest one someone's ever fed you?
The dirtiest one somebody's ever fed me was actually in a micro.
Oh, this is going completely opposite of where I was going.
It was actually, I want to say that kid's name was Nick Worley.
That name sounds familiar.
Show up at Doe Run every once in a while, and all I remember, he had a yellow car with unpainted wings.
Same name as what I was thinking.
Yeah. But no, I was leading a heat race, and we were coming to the white flag, and we were going into 3 coming to the white flag, and he decided he was going to put his right rear in my lap, and knocked the injection off, tore up all kinds of stuff, and about cost me that points championship that year, because me and I think it was Alan Cope or Mueller that I was battling with. It was a pretty close battle on the points, and it about cost me.
Yeah. That's I vaguely remember that, but not too bad. Where did you think he was going with it?
Oh, I mean, the multiple Mod Lite crashes. I mean,
There's been a few.
There's definitely one that sticks out. The bad thing is 2 weeks before that is I did it to myself, and I thought it was Shane Hughes, and then I watched the video, and on that one we were just going in, and I just got a little too much grip, and those things wheel traction roll so easy, especially that car that I had then.
Yeah. What car was that?
That was the Evo.
Okay. That
was the cars that we bought from Brian Crabtree.
Those cars had a rough life.
Yeah, they're in Canada. Well, one of them's in Canada now.
Oh, okay.
That car's in Canada.
Yeah, I forgot Crabtree had the Mod Lites.
Yeah, he went all in before he went all in again on micros.
Yeah.
What's been, I already asked your biggest win. What's been your biggest, heartbreaker in racing, or, one that got away?
Leading every lap, except for the last one, when that big wreck that Jeremy was talking about. I mean, we tried all year. I mean, he had our number all year, and I finally felt like I had him covered. And that one hurt.
And that was at SIR?
No, that was down here. Yep.
Is where?
Down here, Don't Run.
Oh, Don't Run. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a violent wreck too.
Yeah.
Violent. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, it pretty well finished that car off. The guys that, I don't know, some guys came down from Canada this past winter and actually picked it up and said they were going to fix it and race it, but I don't know. They must have more time than me to fix that car. So
yeah. Now you still you ran that car a few times after that, didn't you?
Nope.
No,
That was the last time I drove that car. And I got we bought that Eliminator. It was just like those new cars that Sam got at the time. And, man, I liked that car on the bigger tracks, but on them little tracks, I felt like I was going to turn that thing over every lap.
Yeah. Now, also, for those who don't know, your brother Jagger is, he's a senior in high school?
Yep.
And he's, which we'll get Jagger on some point, but we can talk a little bit about him. He's senior in high school, so 18 years old, and he's got a few Mod Lite victories under his belt.
Yeah.
And is Mod Lite the only thing he's ever drove?
As far as I know, we took him to Flickerwood in a go-kart, a flat cart one time, and that was, there was like one other cart there, so it was cool to get him some racing experience. But for the longest time, Aaron was like, no
he wasn't.
Racing.
Yeah. Jagger's lucky what he's doing now, because I remember him used to be begging me, hey, I can drive your micro, or I can do this. And I said, you're asking the wrong person. I said, your mom ain't letting you drive nothing.
Well, I don't know. I don't even know if you guys really know, but Jagger had a baseball accident and had to have some pretty invasive surgery on his head. And I think that just kind of had everybody freaked out for a little bit.
Yeah, see, I didn't know any of that.
I think
he was about 12 or 13, wasn't he?
I mean, maybe I don't.
I remember it happening.
That's been, but I know it was crazy because about maybe a year and a half before that, my other little brother on my mom's side had to have the same surgery. He fell off a pull-up bar and hit his head, and had to have the same brain surgery. But yeah, I didn't think we'd ever talk Aaron into letting Jag race, but I'm glad we did, and because the little shit can drive.
Yeah, he's an animal, man. That's for sure. Yeah, I never even knew that. No, I wouldn't have gave him so much crap about his mom not letting him do anything if I knew that. And now, is it really like anything that affects him or anything, or if like he would hit his head really bad, would it be something bad, or is it just? As far
as I know, it was just one of those things that it was a brain bleed.
Okay.
And so it was basically they had to get that to stop.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it puts him at additional risk or anything like that. Nothing that I know of, but it was a scary time.
I bet. That's probably. I mean, if I was him now, I'd be. If you come around him for the lead, I'd be like, oh, my brain. I didn't know what was going on that lap, man. Or you wouldn't have had me, but that's the reason why.
Yeah.
He needs to start using that, since it ain't going to affect nothing.
Kind of like you didn't know the yellow was out when you threw the slider herd around the world.
That's. I mean, definitely. I don't think we've ever even mentioned that yet. You know,
I thought
Billy was at one of my races that I threw the slide job that heard around the world in front of the carnival audience, probably too. I don't even remember, but yeah, this guy, I set him up, and slide job, and then the yellow come out and took the victory from me.
Yeah, the yellow came out as he was throwing it off in there,
and the guy slowed down, and then it looked like the best slide job ever. But
probably would have wrecked if it would have stayed green. It would have been a wreck
because I was committed. There was no stopping it. It was because I slid all the way up the wall, and I was like, I got him. And I was going down the straightaway, and then I was like, freaking yellow's out. And I was like, that sucks. And the guy was an old guy too. Yeah. So it even sucked even worse.
The best part was you pull back up to the trailer, and you're like, did you see that?
It was like last lap for like 9th in the B. Yeah. And I threw this slider heard around the world, and I was like, we're both going down. I don't even know who this is, I don't think, but we're both going down, or I'm gonna put on a show. And I threw it and I made it, and I was like, man, that was the coolest thing ever. And then I seen the yellow was out, and I was like, shit, that guy probably stopped.
And then it didn't count.
Didn't even count.
Man.
It sucked. Yeah, but it was still pretty good. I got a couple pretty good pictures from when Billy was with me when I was banging the cushion at Belleville and
Under yellow.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Man, Belleville, I miss Belleville.
Oh yeah, man, that was definitely my favorite.
It was just as much fun on a Mod Lite as it was a micro.
Oh,
I think everything was good.
Everything there was.
Yeah.
I mean, man.
Modifieds, late models, even the street stocks of Belleville was good.
Even the Ward non-wing sprints put on a good show
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I know they're gonna, they're I guess in the process of rebuilding Belleville.
Yeah,
I don't have my hopes up that it's gonna be nothing like it was, but
I mean, the way it's going now, I bet you it's 5 to 10 years before it even gets done.
Yeah,
because it's been 5 years since they've said they were going to do it.
right. Yeah.
So I mean, if it gets done, none of us will maybe even see it. Some kids may see it, but we probably won't. But you ain't gonna beat a midget micro race, or mostly a midget race in its prime at Belleville.
Oh yeah, man.
You ain't gonna beat that.
Yeah, midgets at Belleville. I don't know that there's anywhere better for a midget show.
Yeah, especially when you had Rico, you had Clausen, you had
Yeah. That was back when
all the KKM original kids.
Thorson and Bell and
I know Billy Joe the night I'm sure you'll remember it. Night we all went. Rico won after he was running third and spun out, went to the back, and then come back and won, and it was badass.
Like the Shamrock.
I don't even remember. I just remember it happening.
I remember it was really early in the year.
Yeah.
It was freezing cold
Yep.
that night.
Yep. That was one of the best shows I've ever seen, and
that was the best time to be around midget racing, when it wasn't as many kids that just had the money or whatever was going on. But when you had Thorson and Bell and some of those guys that were all running, that was the midget days, man. That was pretty awesome.
I kind of feel like all racing's changed.
Well, all that's changed because if I had a whole bunch of money and kids, I would send them straight there.
Right.
I would let them race with me for a little bit, but if that's what they were going to do,
right.
and you had unlimited budget, they ain't going to learn from me, might as well send them where they want to go. But some of them have done it, have just disappeared, and you never hear too much about it. But also it is, I think, an outlet for them to see, for say NASCAR, ARCA, whatever the next step is, for those people to see that their family does have money, and then they're going to jump on these kids, and that's where they're going to go.
Right. That's happening quite a bit.
That's just the way of it now. You can't really come back in the day. We always complained about, oh man, that kid bought the ride and everything. Well, guess what? 90% of them do now. So get over it. There ain't too many normal guys out there that are racing up through the ranks, and half of them that aren't going to probably make it.
Right. Not without a lot of funding behind you.
Look at Steven Snyder. He's jumping in that midget now, which is a top-notch team, and he's killing it, doing pretty awesome at, unlikely he's going to go.
I'm going to tell a story about one of Billy Joe's good friends, Mark Shershikan. Yeah, Billy traveled with Mark for several years. I traveled with him 1 year, and we all know Mark was fast at times, but man, he tore up a lot of stuff. And we was at, I don't remember where we was at, somewhere in Kansas or Iowa, and some guy come up to him, and basically, long story short, he knew Mark had a pocket full of money, or his mom and dad had a pocket full of money, so wanted to put him in a K&N series ARCA car. And we're like, what? Well, come to find out, it was just, the guy needed a funding for his team.
Yeah.
And he knew Mark had money, and that's kind of where that went.
I heard that story.
Yeah, it was 2011, so it was after you started helping him. And I don't know, it could have even been northern Missouri. We was up that way somewhere, and some guy come up and was basically trying to pitch to him, and come to find out, it was just, he knew Mark's mom and dad had money and was looking to field his car, and Mark's like, I have no interest in going asphalt racing, but that just kind of goes back to people know that these kids have money and they want to put them in stuff. And
some of them, I have a lot of respect for some of these kids that have done it, like Tanner Carrick. You see that he's like a fishing guide, and he does all.
Really?
I didn't know that.
He does all kinds. He jumps in a car a couple times a year, kills it, and he'll still. I guess he probably rents the ride from Keith now because he's not a part of their team really. He is, but you know what I'm saying, not all year long.
Right.
But if you look him up, he does guided trips for all kinds of fishing stuff and duck hunting, and supports this whole thing. And then I guess a couple times a year he's like, I'm gonna rent Keith Coon's ride, and still kills it. But because some of those guys in that era right there, like Carrick and when they have a Robinson kid or a I don't remember.
It's been so many. It's hard to
Yeah,
keep
so
up.
I mean, some of those they just disappeared, but I mean, a couple of them went places. A little bit of. I think Jesse Love,
yeah.
he's still doing something.
Yeah, he's the big one.
Yep, he's still doing some stuff, and I mean, he probably wouldn't have got in there without a little bit of something helping. But
Right.
he's obviously doing pretty good now.
I
But
wish we had an asphalt option
around here,
Like I've never even got to try it. I think it'd be fun just to try it one time. Like when we went to Titans game a couple years ago in Nashville, and they had the Rusty Wallace deal where you could go in and rent. And I was like, man, it'd be cool if I could do that at the fairgrounds, because
Right.
I don't really have any interest on getting on a mile and a half.
Right.
Because the cars are going to be so governed. But I feel like if I could get on somewhere like Nashville Fairgrounds, a little half mile, like that would be a blast. I think just go and make laps.
yeah. My big deal is the passing. I just like NASCAR. I don't even watch NASCAR. I mean, I
We'll
don't.
just go talk to BJ and ask him about quarter midget passing.
Jesus.
It's the same thing.
He's
Bump and run.
He's mad at me right now about our tire situation, so we can't talk about him too much.
Oh,
He got that super secret set of tires for us when we went, and Cole won, but Cole didn't let him go because he grounded his own dad from the races because they were fighting. So, and then we ended up winning on the super secret tires, and I think BJ got mad.
So that's why our group chat, Billy, was so quiet last week, because
yeah.
BJ was mad.
well, I thought maybe it was because I was sick last week, but and I looked back through it when I woke up from not feeling good for about a day and a half. I looked through my messages, and like Sutton and Noah are talking, but BJ,
Yeah.
I guess he was, I guess he said something about finding a kid in a diaper or something while he's driving his UPS truck. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
He was probably still a little mad, but that's usually weekly.
Yeah.
If it ain't at Cole, he picks somebody out like Brian from Coles County or somebody. He'll pick him out and get on him pretty good.
Not BJ.
Now with that, the asphalt looks fun. I mean, it's a cool deal, but like the NASCAR stuff, it's just so. I mean, you see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it'd be cool to not have to wash my race car on
yeah,
Sunday.
that'd be cool. I don't know. I still like the old days of watching and it was the only pavement, but like when you watched the non-wing pavement sprint cars and they were chrome and everything was crazy, which I don't like chrome, but back in the day when you seen them under the lights and everything, you're like, these are the coolest things ever. And I mean, that kind of all went away a little bit, but those were super cool to watch at.
Let's get back on track here. Billy, what's, I know you've drove a lot of cars over the years, but what's one car you want to drive that you've never got to drive?
Late model.
I figured that's what was coming.
Or, like I said, or anything on asphalt. Like, I think it'd just be fun to get in a decent piece of equipment and just go rip some laps at a little half-mile fairground track like that or something.
Yeah. We, I don't know anybody with the late model, so I can't help you there.
That's why I keep hoping that that limited late model class is going to take off out at Farmington and then just build one to race 3 or 4 times a year. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, then you could get one of those and then sell the old Mod Lite.
No, I just put the boys in the Mod Lite.
Oh, there you go.
What about Dad? Do you think he'd ever get back in a race car? Because if so,
Begged him to.
that would be perfect for him. That limited late model class.
Well, and he's actually the one that brought it up. He's like, we could build one of those. He said they run like 5 or 6 times a year. You could both between me and Jagger could both get a night or 2 a year in one, just to say we have to do it. Because when he ran late models, they were steel block late models,
right.
Steel block, steel head. Actually, when he first got back into it, you still had to have the stock stub in the sportsman cars, and then the very next year they did away with that, where you could actually run a full late model chassis. But
so your first modified motor was actually his late model motor, wasn't it?
no, the first modified we bought turnkey from a guy in somewhere out by Lake of the Ozarks, and he raced it at Wheatland, and we bought it turnkey, and then started work. We still have that motor out of Dad's last late model, like it's still sitting in our shop, but we worked on getting it because we had to convert it back to wet sump and do a bunch of changes to it, put it in, and went to the only time I ever raced at Poplar Bluff and blew it up. And their push trucks everything was such a mess that night. They should have rained out. We were there till like 3 o'clock in the morning, And the leader of the feature actually ended up pushing me off the track because they couldn't get a push truck to get to me quick enough because they were all tied up in the pit somewhere, and it was rusty.
Wow. Yeah. I remember a trip you made in the modified to Lake Ozark too.
Oh, that was the only week I ever had fun in a modified.
I remember that was a fun. I don't remember. Was that the 360 Nationals? Because sprint cars were there too.
Yep, it was the Labor Day show.
Okay. Yep.
And because I always went to that show when I was helping Mark.
Right.
I was like, just everything about that show was fun. You know, there was an establishment right there by the track that was a lot of fun after the races, and you know, we'd go do that kind of thing, and it was fun. So I was like, when we got that modified, I was like, all right, at the end of the year this year, we're going to that Lake of the Ozark show. I don't care if we run dead last. I just want to go to that show because it's fun. And actually made the show both nights.
Yeah, I remember. And there were several. I remember you and Super Dave battling, and I don't remember who all, but there was a few Farmington cars there that weekend.
Yeah.
And I remember it was a lot of fun. And one of the nights in the feature, you run. I want to say you run up toward the top 10, didn't you? From come out of the B main. I know you advanced quite a bit, but
yeah, I think we ended up, I don't know, 12th, 13th, something like that. But I know me and a guy that was pitted like 3 trailers down from me, he and I both got out of the car just laughing, having the greatest time because we raced our asses off for 13th.
Right. Yep.
I mean, we were beating the doors off each other every corner, and we got out and was both laughing about it and talking about how much fun we had.
Yeah, so. I remember that was. I remember how happy you was that weekend. That was a good time.
That's crazy to be happy in a modified, you know.
And running, mid pack. So, but it's all about.
I guess maybe I went into it with low enough expectations to where it was just. I really was just there to have fun.
Right. Know? Yeah. That's hard to do. You get wrapped up into points and. Most times when you go out there, you expect to win. So if you run 5th place, you're pissed off.
Well, that was the good thing about back then. I hadn't won yet.
Yeah.
So when I had the modified, I had never won anything but maybe a heat race or two in the first go around in the Mod Lites.
I remember your first feature win. That was in a micro.
Yep.
And then it was also your birthday. Was that your birthday weekend?
No, it was in June.
Okay, but I remember we went camping for the rest of the weekend after that at the Clearwater Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, was that the first one or the second one? Because I only won 2 in a micro, and I won them back-to-back weeks. And I know...
I think it could have been I don't remember.
The first one that because I know we rented a boat and stuff.
Yeah.
And,
it was the first one because I remember we tied on a good one and had a lot of fun. We were celebrating, and it just so happened we already had all that booked, and then it was like perfect timing.
Yeah.
So, I remember that. And then how many feature wins have you won total? You've won a few since then.
I'm not 100% sure. At least, I don't know, once, twice, 3 times a year.
Yeah.
We sit down and kind of think about it, and we'll get a rough number in our minds, but it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 30.
Yeah, nice. All right.
Now, has Miles or Maverick, they picked up any feature wins yet?
They've both won 1 at Doe Run, and then Maverick's won 2 at St. John, and Miles won 1 at St. John. He won the last night we ran St. John last year.
Nice.
On a last lap. He only led like 6 feet of the whole race.
Is there a track that you've never got to race on that you want to hit?
I wasn't ready for that one. Yes, Wheatland.
Wheatland?
Not in a Mod Lite.
I was going to say that'd be.
But they have ran them there.
Have they really?
And I've every time they do it, I'm like, man, it's really tempting just to say that I got to race on that track. But I like smaller tracks better. I feel like these cars just are meant for smaller tracks.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is crazy because 90% of the places around all over everywhere else runs huge tracks, man. And I mean, it's just like when I don't remember where I was watching them at. It may have been Florida. Heck, I don't even remember where we were watching. But I mean, you could put 9 cars in the corner with all running right by each other. And I was like, man, I just don't look nothing like what I'm used to, you know.
Right. Yeah, a quarter mile and smaller, I feel like they put on the best races. The guys down in Arkansas, they went to Batesville a couple weeks ago, and man, there was some stuff tore up.
I bet.
That's just, I don't know. I just don't feel like these little cars need to be going that fast down the straightaways. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's what is the what's the big race that Matt and all them talk about? They go up to
Boone.
Yeah. So what is that? Super Nationals or something like that?
Super Nationals.
That's a big old track too, ain't it?
Yeah, I don't think it's much bigger than a quarter though.
Okay.
But it's it's a good size race. I mean, it might be way bigger than I'm thinking. I've never been there, but I've watched it.
Well, they hype that up so good, and they'll always want me to go, and I'm like, I just that many fender cars up there or whatever. They're like, oh, it's nothing like that, and I'm like, I just don't know, man. I mean, what do you do?
Well, that's the one that on the last night they start to feature 3 wide.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They
asking
call it
for
like
trouble.
a dance or something like that.
Yeah. That I don't know. Half the time around here, we struggle to get 2 wide, so I can't imagine 3 wide.
Oh man, heck, on those big tracks, man, you'll see them. You got enough room to run 5, 6. I mean, all the stuff I've watched. When Matt will watch it when we go fishing or something like that, and he'll have something play, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's 5 of them in the corner, coming out of the corner, and there's still 5 of them going down the straightaway,
Right.
Yeah, that just seems like a little fast for that, man. Because even like Farmington and a micro was pretty quick, but then the one time we ran at Peevely.
Oh, yeah.
No thanks.
But it really wasn't. To me, that stuff didn't seem fast because it seemed like you're like, come on, where's the corner? It's just never really. Farmington got to be where when you would go there in the micro, you just leave it to the floor and just kind of turn her a little, and that was about it.
That's how Bubba down in
Oh,
Florida.
yeah.
That was the first time I went to Florida, and that place, it's like from the flag stand to the middle of 3 and 4, all the way around, you're flat-footed, but then you got to slow it way down to make that sharp turn 4. Because you come out of 3 and you're headed right for the wall.
And where was that at, Bubba?
Ocala.
Yep.
Okay.
Which one of them? They tore down East Bay, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. That's a staple.
So actually, the year that I went to the first year I went to race in Florida, we got rained out like the first 2 or 3 nights. It was like 4 or 5 nights. But the one night we was looking at all the other tracks that were racing in Florida, and East Bay was the only one that didn't get rained out. We went down, didn't even know what was racing. Got down there, and it was an ASCS 360 show. Well, everybody was there. Like, I remember that was the first place Jagger had ever seen Rico race.
Oh, wow.
And, it was pretty cool there was Rico. I think Lasowski was still driving. There was all kinds of big names. Sandy
That's
was
back
there.
when Jason Johnson and, Shane Stewart, the ASCS guy, Brady Bacon, they had some big names back then.
Yeah, that I don't know. The 360 games or the ASCS deal to me has kind of died. I don't. I mean, it ain't as big as what it used to be, but
Yeah, it definitely has.
when we went to Florida with Doc, you could run for a month, actually like 17 days, because they ran the ASC was packed, and then they had 410s. Then the Outlaws came, and then after that they had the All Star. It was insane, but I don't remember what tracks. I know we were at East Bay for a lot of it, but I can't remember all the other tracks that were right there that we kind of messed around with. But
All right, you got anything else you want to cover,
what's
Billy?
the next couple of weeks for you then? You got, I guess if it's 1,000 win at Coles County, you're going to hit it?
Probably. I think Jagger will be back in town, able to race this week.
What's he doing, duck hunting?
No, turkey hunting.
Oh, Jesus.
He was in Kansas, and I don't know where all he went.
Where
But
do all these kids get all this money? Between him and Noah, he's like a self-made millionaire. So he gets to hunt every day of his life.
you don't really hear from Noah that much. He chimes in on something every once in a while, but
he chimes in with me every time there's a pretty awesome Stallard for sale. He's like, we need this. And I'm like, where are you at? And he's like, Canada, hunting bighorn sheep. And I'm like, you ain't got time to race, man. But yeah, all that stuff, man, seems freaking expensive. But I guess is he going to school still?
well, he has to go actually physically go to school 1 hour a day.
Oh, I did all that. Where you work the rest
Yep.
of okay, yeah.
He comes to work with us and works most of the day, and then gets a 2-hour lunch instead of a half-hour lunch.
Yeah. So if he comes home, and then both of you probably head up to Coles County, and then the following week will be
Following week will be Marion for
Marion.
Yeah.
Yep.
sure. I'm hoping that show, like I would like to see that show do so good that next year they consider doing it a standalone. Like,
Oh yeah, no, I that would be cool for that show to be, say, the Hustle or the Sprague, but be a 50+ car race, you know, something like that. Yeah, that'd be freaking awesome.
What does you know, the Northern Arkansas series? Do they have anything going on that week?
I don't think so. I remember kind of looking at schedules when all that came out, and I'm pretty sure it's a pretty open weekend. I know the one that I was kind of concerned about was Brian up at Coles County, because I think he had it on his schedule that he was still going to race that night. I was like, man, if we get some tracks to work together. And I wish so bad the Mod Lite class around here had somebody like Bryce Vallon down in Arkansas, because, you know, instead of being stuck at one track, he gets everybody to go to 10 or 12 tracks there in the state, you know, and some of them are a pretty good drive for some of them guys, but then they have a home track too, I think, so that helps. But
right,
And you see his name up here quite a bit, you know, because he kind of supports damn near everything, I would think. He's the one who runs a Benton quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He went in there last night, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I was watching the live timing because he was winning and Brian Worley was second, and then I think the last lap Brian got around him. So, all right, got anything else you want to hit?
I don't know, man. I think that's about it. I don't have too much more.
All right, Billy. Well, thanks for coming on. Hope you enjoyed your first podcast, and good luck the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yep, no problem. Thank you.